Hello, happy Friday. I'm coming in here. It's technically still morning here on the East Coast. I'm back. You see my backdrop is back to just imagining some of these beautiful vistas. California was amazing. It is a very beautiful place that we visited. It was Palm Springs, the desert. We went up 8,500 feet onto a mountain, San Jacinto, and we hiked around in 8 inches of snow. Had no idea, wasn't prepared with our wardrobe. But it was wonderful, and it was a whirlwind. And of course, I came back on Wednesday night, and yesterday was a lot of sort of trying to reacclimate, time difference, elevation changes over and over, ears popping, all the things, the physical things, but very happy to be home and just sort of settling back in while navigating all of the waves, the energetic waves that we're all moving through right now. I'm going to be sharing a number of things with you here. I will have already shared with you our little tidbit for today's card, and we're going to bring these guys up, and I'm going to explain some of my confusion about these two. Somehow I transposed them and had put out our Ace of Pentacles as a midweek blessing. Of course, it is a blessing. It is actually how have I grown? So that when I got back and saw that the Two of Pentacles was actually in that middle position for the week, somehow I posted a Wednesday update twice. But of course, time is not linear. These cards have been, of course, weaving a story throughout this week, which I personally have found to be quite spot on for myself. Some of the things I know I shared from California and that I will be sharing here today on the other end of the week, a new blog post that I was inspired to put together yesterday, which was actually, I think, my first one in over 3 years, or about 3 years. That's actually how I got started with an anonymous blog where I just kind of did a little, mind dump of all of my, card pulls and musings and different spiritual breadcrumb things. So it was really fun to kind of get back into that groove and share from that space, live and in progress as, my Three of Swords and different things have been coming up. And now as we culminate the week with this guy, couldn't be more perfect. The blog post that I'll be sharing, you may have seen because I did send it out last night as a newsletter. So I know many of you are on my newsletter, which, by the way, I typically, if you have been a client of mine, will add you to the newsletter. You always have the option. You can unsubscribe at the bottom. If you did not receive the newsletter and you'd like to do so in the future, I very rarely, maybe 2 times a year, but I would like to get back into more of a regular, would never be more than twice a month, if that ever, working towards it. But if you would like to be added, please send me your email address or just a note and we can connect. So you may have seen it already, just kind of been sprinkling it out there as I'm moving through the morning here. A beautiful theme that came forward from a book that I got to listen to while I was in flight throughout my trip, called My Good Friend, the Rattlesnake. And I mentioned it to you when I was in the hotel on Tuesday, I believe, because I had started the book and said that, no coincidences, there were all these little spiritual breadcrumbs. There was a mention of the snake who steals the ostrich's eggs when we talked about this Three of Swords that came in as Tuesday's the potential blocker challenge this week. And I mentioned that I was reading this beautiful book by Don Jose Ruiz, the son of Don Miguel Ruiz, who, of course, we brought in, and I'm going to pull another one today, some of the simple Fifth Agreement, beautiful affirmation cards from one of those powerful books, his 4 Agreements and the Fifth Agreement. This new book, and I get into it in the blog post, so I won't recreate everything, but there were just these 2 beautiful metaphors between the rattlesnake, which is the understanding that baby rattlesnakes are more dangerous than adult rattlesnakes, and that is because they have all their poison and they don't yet know how to wield it. And so if one is bit by a baby rattlesnake, that baby rattlesnake will release all of its poison at once, which renders that bite more deadly, whereas an adult rattlesnake would wield their poison with with care for themselves, but also understanding how to control their poison. So this beautiful metaphor about how we all have poison as a result of this human experience, our lives, our wounding, all of the things. And that spiritual maturity is about learning how to manage that, wielding that poison from an empowered place, and be cognizant that it exists and that we have that potential, as do the other snakes that we encounter on our journey. So that beautiful analogy, and then the other one being about a Buddhist story where there was poison arrows being shot at Buddha, which due to Buddha holding a space of love and compassion, the arrows turned to flowers and dropped to his feet. So you may have heard that phrase before, this notion of turning arrows to flowers. I thought it was so lovely. I had never heard it before. And so again, I get into that. I've woven together a bunch of things. Little fun fact, I'll share a quick reel about the blog post with a number of the beautiful affirmations that came through when I tuned in for this post yesterday. And you'll see a little live footage of hummingbird. That is from Tuesday when I told you the hummingbirds were coming around my room. And this one just right in front of me at the flowers, and I stopped for a moment and took a little video clip. And so here it is, just this beautiful spiritual breadcrumbs imitating life. Those are all real photos that I've taken over time, the other flower photos that you'll see, but except for the last one. That's one that I just put together yesterday to reimagine the concept of arrows turning to flowers. And so, I will let that post speak for itself. But suffice it to say, you may or may not realize, we've mentioned it a time or two, Venus is retrograde in Aries and has been since March 1st, right? So we've been in the pre-shadow, now we're in it. And, this is really a very significant event of 2025. As I shared through our energetic weather this week, that it really is influencing all of our closest relationships. It is something that can be Venus in Aries, a challenging dynamic to work with. And so this can bring up ego wounds and emotional triggers that rise up, especially when it comes to our relationships. And so this is where very, very likely you have already been swimming in it, but that we could find some old relationship wounds or dynamics resurfacing that need our attention. So this is all part of, this place from where this blog post has bloomed. So I hope you enjoy it if you check it out, and I would love to hear from you. There's a space below the blog that you can comment or certainly send me a quick reply or message, whatever speaks to you. How are you doing is what I would like to know, and maybe about how you're navigating through these times and anything that you have to share. It's needed, so needed. So, moving through all of that energy with a wonderful, beautiful opportunity here in these two cannot be separated Ace of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, this juggling act of, coming to terms with the things that have left us perhaps feeling broken or fractured, or moving through the emotions that are coming with the resurfacing of some of these relationship wounds and limiting beliefs and things that are ready to be expressed and transmuted. Balancing that here with this Two of Pentacles while planting some new seeds and setting forward into some really beautiful new beginnings. Not lost on me, flowers matching all over the place between, the photos that came forward for me, the scenery that I was just blessed to be taking in. And now here we have this energy of, planting seeds and embarking on this next leg of our journeys. Now, as we wrap up the week, must be said, these wands, oftentimes I relate to arrows, and this notion of the 10 of Wands being that absolute, we're bogged down, we're shouldering all of it, and it really poses the question, do you need to carry all those wands all at the same time? And so, we get to step into the driver's seat to take accountability for perhaps some of those poison arrows that we've accepted, that we've taken on, that we're carrying around, that we have this beautiful opportunity to transmute. And so, especially with the affirmations that came forward, some of them really, I'm personally, printing out and having handy, and I tried to make up some little thumbnails that you'll see in the reel that I'll share, or over on my social media spaces if you wanted to screenshot, or if you would like a copy, I'd be happy to send you like the real photos, that I've created with these affirmations. Overall, knowing every challenge is an opportunity for growth. I am becoming wiser, stronger, and more loving with each experience. So if we were unpacking every one of these wands that we're carrying right now, that again, wands are the fire, the sparks, the creativity, but this also sense of, in this case, can feel like a burden, something that we're shouldering and carrying that has a potential for transmutation. So of course, we wound the week with this beautiful energy of rainbow that was coming from the seasons of the witch for Ostara, for the incoming equinox that's coming up. And this one said, take a breath, be still in your heart, and believe in what dreams may come. So today I thought I would just pop on, say hello, quick catch up, and pull us a card as we enter into the weekend from the amazing Tarot of Curious Creatures. I know many of you were checking out the links that I shared further back here in the Sharecast to the PDF and all of the beautiful pick a card and all the interpretations of the cards. So we're going to pull one here to go with all of these that we've been moving through this week. Oh yeah, King of Wands. Once again, beautiful opportunity to step into that empowered position of embodying that ability to transmute, that which has become very heavy and burdensome. So I'm going to spray, set that here. 2 sprays I pulled. Of course, we've been working with this, the Bob Marley joy energy for raising that vibration. And I love that we infused that into our messages this week. And then in came the hummingbirds and this message of joy and being present. And, I even then took that and put it into, as you'll see here, I'm going to share on the other side of this polo. Let me send some of that joy, sunshine in a bottle energy your way. This message of I am a beacon of love and compassion in a divided world, and I choose to see the humanity in everyone, even when they act from fear or pain. And this notion of alchemizing. I am an alchemist of pain. I transform poison into flowers, fear into love, and judgment into compassion. So then we bring in more of the flowers and more of this beautiful frequency of the sapphire ray. This is an energy for global peace. So again, wanting to bring these in just from a color perspective, we're tuning into these beautiful energies and the intention that are in them. So we have the sunflower and the sapphire energy here, bringing in global peace and tuning into that energy as well. And we'll shuffle up and see what wants to come forward for us for the weekend. I anticipate being back on schedule on Sunday. My oldest is home from college for spring break, and that wraps up on Sunday. So we will be returning her back to her college and such. So there's some of that moving around, but I expect to be on Sunday for our weekly collective card pull for next week, which again, big one. We're tuning into some major energies. And that's the thing, Venus in retrograde's been getting the spotlight, but again, it's eclipse season, baby. So there is a combination of things, a perfect blend of a brew, if you will, of we're in Mercury's pre-shadow. Mercury will be stationing retrograde just on the other side of that first blood moon eclipse. And so next week, we're talking about March 14th, blood moon eclipse in Virgo. So this is quite a powerful lunation. Again, these are some big, March is March Madness, we can call March Madness because it is intense. There's a lot of intense energies. I know it seems like we say that all the time. We say it's a powerful lunation. There's an intense time. It is all of the above. So with that blood moon eclipse in Virgo, we'll be tuning in for an empowerment full moon reading, which you are all invited to join me if you'd like. It is available a la carte, or if you're already with me for the empowerment pack this month, We will be rolling into that. This is going to be a big one that we'll be tuning into with the astrological weather, with suggested rituals, and a spread that I'll be choosing for us to tune in for some potent messages, I'm sure, Blood Moon Eclipse style. And then just on the other side, on the 15th of March, Mercury retrograde in Aries. So that means that we'll have Venus and Mercury in retrograde at the same time, and very close to this eclipse is really going to bring challenging and powerful vibes. So, whatever sudden endings and culminations that, are brought in by the eclipse, really we're going to need some time to go back over and digest. And this is where we can really partner with the universe to get in tune with the frequencies. These are the natural rhythms. So, I say about retrograde, this is about being mindful, not fearful. Mercury retrograde, what's going to happen? I can't travel, can't buy a car, all these things. No, it's about being mindful of these natural rhythms that occur on the planet and in the universe every year, throughout the year, these cycles. And so when we're being in flow with what is, we can utilize these things as tools. So we have this big transformative blood moon eclipse, and then we go into a retrograde where we have this opportunity to slow things down and go back over things and digest and marinate and really evolve before we rush into trying to understand and integrate things. So moving slowly, listening to our intuition, all those things coming up. So again, we'll get into that more as we get into the week ahead. But yeah, much about. So let's see. We're going to pull a card here for the weekend, and we're setting an intention for our collective. Anytime you tune in here, this message is for you to take in whatever way resonates. And we will be building upon that, as we step into the new week. So one card here from the Tarot of Curious Creatures, a message for us today on the other side of these cards that have been playing out for us this week, our story that we've been tuning into here. See what comes forward. Beautiful. Well, I like it. I'm here for it. And I love, because of course we did have the yellow as well all week with our wands energy coming in through, of course, the lion, and we have the baboon today. So, with all this animal energy as well, you're encouraged to tune in whatever way resonates for you. So this is the Two of Cups, and it looks like two dolphins. So beautiful energy of, again, look at that energy coming in there with the lion and seahorse. Wow, that is so beautiful. So the frequency of the lion, the seahorse, the dolphins coming in here in all the different ways that may speak to you. I always see, of course, the lion is bringing us into that strength energy and this energy of solar plexus. I talked about this when I pulled the cards last Saturday. That, we're talking about this energy of bravery, courage, boldness, standing in our I am, as the antidote, as that opposite end of the spectrum to worry, anxiety, fear, lack, the lower vibration of yellow. And so we have this energy coming in with the wands, which is the fire, but also Pisces season says, psst, don't forget about me. I'm still here for the feels. I'm still here for the depths and all of the things that are coming up to the surface. But look how beautiful, because it's from this place of high intelligence. We were tuning into, over on the February Empowerment Sharecast, we were tuning into the whispers of the dolphins throughout the month of February with beautiful, deep feeling messages, which really was taking us next level. I tuned into that deck for the new moon reading, the new moon in Pisces. And we were getting into galactic energy and Commander Ashtar. So it was a lot of like as above, so below energy. So we had this blending coming together. And also our partnerships, our friendships, our romantic relationships are all on display, all coming up. all moving, swimming through, right? And so the dolphin just brings this really beautiful energy of the way in which this thing is happening. These energies are moving. How am I going to experience them? This is where my power lies. And it was amazing. Little side note, the thing that I was sharing, the deeply personal, friendship and things that I'm still navigating, also unfortunately involve my children. And so with that, my youngest, who is Elena Joy, and she is just so far beyond her years in every way. She was navigating some, not only, from the reverberations of this situation, but also some other things for herself at school. And, she's in 3rd grade and just starting to try to find her way in terms of groups and social structures and all of the things. And I was in the middle of giving her at our house, I'm going to do a shameless, 90s TV show reference, but we refer to Full House and we call them Danny Tanner talks because Bob Saget, rest in peace to Bob, as Danny Tanner, there was always that moment in the episode where he came into the kids' room and sat on their bed and the music would play and he was kind of giving them his words of wisdom. That's what I call when my husband is talking to my kids, Danny Tanner talks. So I'm entering into my Danny Tanner talk to tell her about, where her power lies with her actions and reactions to other people and the choices that they make and how they may be. And she finished my sentence. She just came right at it with her wise little self, just saying, I can't help what other people do or don't do or what they say. She just turned 9 in January and she says, I can only be responsible for me. And I said, that's right. And I was just like, ooh. So, out of the mouths of babes. And again, if we can find that central space that we can really tune into what truly matters at this time and where to put our energy. Do I need to carry all of this on my back? It is heavy. It is burdensome. And we can all help each other to shoulder these loads. We don't have to go at it alone. And also, are being called to exercise discernment when we decide just how much we choose to shoulder and carry versus transmuting it. How can I get at, if I can't control the thing that's happening, if I can't control the dynamics in these partnerships, agreements, and relationships of all kinds, and even, of course, within aspects of my own self that I'm working to heal, what can I do? How can I be? And that's some of what, we're being asked to reflect on in all the messages that are coming together. But let's tune into this 2 of Cups. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm getting chatty here. Reminder to you, if you're using Marco Polo Plus, or if you haven't tried yet, I have that link for you for a free 2 months anyway. You can 2-time me. You'll see there's a little 2X in the corner if I'm talking too much. Speeds it up a little bit. Little fun tip for you. So in this 2 of Cups, we have this beautiful dolphin energy coming in. Partnerships, true love, romance, understanding, companionship, healing, dualities, merging, deep interconnectedness, soulmates, playfulness, joy, and peace. And so this is talking about emotional intelligence. So, as we look at this message, as we move on into the weekend and ramp up with these eclipse energies and retrograde energies, emotional intelligence, a heart wide open and selfless action. This is what love is made of. We hear one another's love song by listening to the vibrations of our hearts and moving step by step toward those who vibrate in tune. When we shine our brightest light, we offer a more luminous soul song to the world, and we have a better chance of attracting more complementary partners in love and in life. You are magnetic when you radiate your uniqueness and your peace. Now is the time to send out your perfect dance of star-aligned intentions and to step into a pod of pure joy and faith. Commit to those you love. Speak your feelings to those around you. Grab a hold of that which you have been dreaming of and merge with it. True and lasting companionship is yours to enjoy, and a life partner or a true match is here for the long haul. The power of your two hearts coming together is infinite. True love is yours to enjoy. So of course, this comes at us from all different relationships and dynamics. And this can include, those which can bring some of the greatest challenges. Those can be absolutely our greatest teachers and opportunities for us to fall in love with our humanity and with our own loving compassion and capacity for being a container that can hold that even in the face of turbulence in relationship. So that's what I'm feeling there. And the dolphin guidance says, peace and playfulness are our teachers. How I love it when it comes together. Peace and playfulness, because this is all about joy and presence, and don't worry about a little anything, because every little thing's going to be all right. And this beautiful energy, peace and playfulness. This is what I love about it. You set the intention, you bring that energy in collectively, we tune in, and it's also synchronistic. The deep connectedness that comes from profound honesty. That's just the rush of endorphins that we are looking for. Are you completely open in your partnerships? What do you hold back? Is there anything keeping you from feeling peaceful, secure, and content? So this is a big one, because this is the number one thing that we will continue to see as opportunities for healing and speaking of maturing that poison, communication. Communication in our relationships and expression, and the ability to share and hold space for others to share without judgment, with reserving the judgment and trying our best not to project into it our wounding. And unfortunately, or fortunately, or however it appears, not everyone is in that space or has done the healing work in order to be able to hold that cup and to be able to bring that to the table. And this can be one of the most challenging parts of navigating these relationship dynamics, is the one that may have us saying, if only they ... Anytime we're putting our power out of ourselves, that we would need the other to show up a certain way, to do or not to do certain things, or to be or not be certain things, then we're externalizing our power and we're not in a position of empowerment. So this is where we become at peace with what is and trust that whatever that individual circumstance, situation is bringing to the table is perfect in its imperfection, and that our power lies within in the way that we navigate those situations and those circumstances, and we communicate clearly. And this is where, when sometimes communication is not possible, there's other suggestions, especially that came up in the blog post about journaling and reflection and really coming from that place. So that feels really spot on. And then, opened up right to it. I just wanted to share, being that this is also giving us the lion and the seahorse, specifically the seahorse energy, and I'm tuning into the spirit animal oracle, knowing that is one of the beautiful spirit animals in that deck. Watch and wait. So it speaks of the seahorse as hovering gracefully and observing with the perspective of one who is not engulfed in the drama, remaining at a distance from all the turbulence. Check this out. Now I'm talking about a deck from a completely different creator, totally unrelated to the Tarot of the Curious Creatures by Chris Ann. This is the Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed, and Seahorse Spirit right there under that bold lion, bringing in the joy, vibration, and frequency of this energy that we infused into our week and the messages that we are tapping into. Come those seahorses above the dolphins who are engaging in this relationship dance. Okay? As we use these words, distance from all the turbulence. Seahorse spirit appears at this time to remind you of the need to be neutral and gain perspective. Now, you may have heard me say that the words I channeled with the new moon in Pisces was choosing neutrality. Okay, and so this is a vibration that was moving us into March when I was tuning into that energy. So your message from Seahorse Spirit is, not my circus, not my monkeys. Spirit wants you to know that even if you are tempted to jump into the fray and try to fix things, the best way to serve yourself and others right now is to remain calm and simply watch and see. Another message here is that whatever your query, Seahorse Spirit asks you to step back from it. Be willing to explore things from different angles rather than a single one, and just observe what is possible. From the perspective of the position of the neutral observer, you will discover a myriad of opportunities and a deeper understanding of what you seek and why. And you will know beauty, truth, love, and wisdom. Wow, that's even more perfect than I thought. I was going to say, I do think of Seahorse as one of those regenerative that can persevere, all of those different creatures who, when they have that ability to, say, break off their tail and regenerate and grow back, that they're able to, like, I knew that some of these properties about the seahorse, but that is exactly what we are tuning into here, that we're talking about as we're navigating these turbulent times, which is our midweek blessing, Wednesday, also known as mixed up with Thursday. New beginnings are just around the corner. So, the nature speaks and the planets, we have equinox coming, we have a new season on the horizon, but we are in eclipse season and retrograde, among many other aspects. So again, be here and be in the flow with what is and utilize it as best you can. So once again, if you're feeling like you need some extra guidance and you want to connect, the Empowerment Pack is still available if you want to work together fully for the month. We can still do for you a month ahead energy reading and the 2 lunations this month as a bundle. Or if you just want to join me for the upcoming Blood Moon Eclipse reading, or any other of the offerings, including there's color healings that I've posted out there that I use for the spring, especially, i.e. cord cutting and chakra cleansing and balancing. So if anything speaks to you, or if you just want to chat, please feel free to reach out in any way that works for you. So I hope that you're finding these messages to resonate at this time. And I appreciate you and your energy and being here. And, as we're swimming in it, we're endeavoring to hold that observer perspective, neutral observer perspective, as best we can. When and where we are needed, we trust that we will be intuitively guided, and that when we anchor into the frequency of compassion and love for all, that it reverberates out and there is a ripple effect then that we are able to bring forward to the collective. And this is how we do the work, one at a time, right? Collective. We bring so much energy together, just the handfuls of us that are here, just doing it from this space, or in your work, in your family, in your life, each one of us planting those seeds and creating this beautiful potential for shouldering this together in order to endeavor toward this energy of the rainbow and what is on the other side of what is surely stormy and complex and painful in many ways, that we are navigating using our tools. And I sure thank you for being here and allowing me to share some of mine with you. So I'm sending you all much love. I'm going to drop all the links and things that I've been teasing and mentioning here. If you want to check out that blog post, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And again, what's working for you, and let's share from that heart space. So much love, many blessings. Have a beautiful weekend, and we'll catch up on Sunday. We'll talk soon. Well, we can't make it up. I realized after I recorded our card pull that I was going to pull a quick affirmation from the 5th agreement, and I just did that. We can't make it up. Flowers everywhere as a message coming forward. It's so cool. So it says, what message am I delivering to myself? And when we flip it over on the other side, it says, when I deliver truth and love to myself, I am happier, and just by being happier, the people around me benefit. My effort is really for everyone because my joy, my happiness, my heaven are contagious. And we'll let that speak for itself with all of the messages that we are moving through at this time. Love it. Much love to you.